Hi everybody, great to be back and helping fill the club coffers. Now there were no Dobbins over the last week, I'm ashamed to say, or surprised to say. However, that then led me to going back in time a wee bit and having a look at some recent history and to be somewhat creative around a few finds. Chris Parkin, unfortunately, is not here, and he was top of the list. So, now, hopefully, Chris didn't get married in this, but what many of you may not know is that Chris actually sponsors the best costume design at the Rugby Sevens, and I just happened to notice that when I was leafing through some of the photos from the Sevens. So, Chris would otherwise have been fine for this. However, if everyone else here could please pay on his behalf, I'd be most grateful. Now, jumbo tennis, which I'm sure has been well reported on, there was a lot happened there. Now, firstly, noting that these two great crusaders are out there not only protecting us at jumbo tennis, but no doubt during the night around town as well, I think we should all feel so safe, and again to please pay for their upkeep and their endeavours. Is John Cook in the house at all? John? No? Oh, it's a shame. John, as many may or may not know, was in fact a top-notch cricket umpire in years gone by. Now, also at the jumbo tennis, John was relating a very funny tale to a number of us and keeping us well entertained. What he didn't realise, of course, was that I was a pending sergeant. Now, John was umpiring what I understand to be a top provincial match at the time, and he got so carried away with the game, when the bowler bowled a clear LBW, John's shout was, "How's that?" and then realised he was the umpire. So again, I find no one here to pay John, for John to pay, so could everyone please contribute on John's behalf? So we'll move on to today's theme. Now I have a fairly lengthy list of people to stand, if you wouldn't mind, please. Brian Hassel, Mark Stevens, William Somerville, Charles Finney, Jeff Baskin, Grant Foggo, Peter Bushnell, Dennis Kirkcaldy, Dylan Works, Russ Ballard, Peter Cullen, Peter Lawson, Pat Walsh, Heather Berry, Peter Cottier, Mark Wheeler, Graham Mitchell, Neil Taylor, Elliot Chang, John Milford, Weldon Pearson Hobson, Barry Halberg, Peter Cornish, Peter Stuyvesant, John Nimmo and Bill Shaw. Oddly enough, that's going to be exactly right. Now, these fine gentlemen and ladies, these fine athletes are in fact the golfers in the club. Now, I think recognising that we do have such a large contingent of athletes, could everyone else please pay a fine? You may sit now, gentlemen, please. So today's theme clearly is going to be all about golf. I would like to provide an opt-out now for the golfers in the club. Thinking here of service above self. Now, if you just over your next few rounds play with a used golf ball instead of purchasing what I know you all use and love, being the Titleist Pro V1s, please put the donation of a sleeve of Titleist Pro V1s in the Sergeant's Bowl, please. I think that'll come to about $20, and if everyone was here I could just wrap up at this point. So, can anyone tell me what the Frank Jones Cup is?
One of the golfers should be able to do.
One of the golfers should be able to, but I prefer someone else to. No? Okay, the Frank Jones Cup is an annual tournament that we play here every year, and it is won on average Stableford. Does anyone know who Frank Jones was? No? No again? To my surprise, in fact, Frank Jones wasn't a Rotarian in this club, and this has been my assumption over the last God knows how many years. Frank apparently was a very good golfer from the Hastings Golf Club. He won the Amateur New Zealand Championship in 1978, and a number of years ago our club members played with him, played a series of games over the year, the winner being the player with the highest average Stableford points, so hence how we've come with the Frank Jones Cup. I understand Bill Shaw was one of the founding members of that particular tournament, and that's what's brought it all forward. Thanks, Bill. So for that piece of historical edification, could everyone who didn't know who Frank Jones was or what the Frank Jones Cup was, please pay. Now, can anyone tell me who the current leader, clubhouse leader, in this year's tournament is?
Russ.
No, even the golfers are wrong. So Russ actually did stand up here some weeks ago and tell us that it was, in fact, Grant Foggett. Now, a little bit of general knowledge. Can anyone tell me what a fairway is?
The ball doesn't go.
Well, that's actually pretty close to what I was going to suggest. So everyone other than Brian can pay, please. The fairway tends to be the tended strip of lawn that separates two groups of golfers. Or at least it has been in my experience, and clearly Brian's as well. Now, what is a niblick? A driver, a long iron, 7 to 9 iron, or a putter? Any clues? Actually, I heard a whisper from Francis, again being the only person who got it right. Francis's table's okay, if everyone else can pay, please. It is a 7 to 9 iron. It is a fairly old term. There are a bunch of other old terms that I'm going to pop up with here. Does anyone know what a spoon is in golfing terms? This is 3 wood, yeah, pretty close. It is a wood, it's a high lofted wood. A cleek. Actually, very good answer. Your table's safe if everyone else can pay, please. A cleek is a 2 iron. I have to say, I learned a lot looking these things up as well. A mashie. 5 iron, yeah. Pretty much a mid iron. Again, Francis' table's safe, and anyone else who got it right safe. And a jigger, and this is a term I had not heard before.
That's what you used to drink out of.
No, we don't in fact drink out of this one anyway. So if everyone could please pay on that one as well. This is a low lofted iron with a shortened shaft. I have no idea what anyone would have used that for. Golfing scores. Anyone other than golfers know what an albatross is in terms of the golfing scores? 3 under par? Yeah, I think everyone got that. Eagle? 2 under par? Yeah, yeah, something I've never had. Birdie? Mark Stevens gets lots of these. Yeah, 1 under par, that's good. Par, obviously, and bogey, I'm sure you're all comfortable with. Now, getting really tricky here. What is a quaich? Is a quaich an old term for a driver, a Scotsman 7 iron, a Royal Wellington Golf Club competition, or a putter? No, I'm sorry, your table can pay. It is, in fact, the annual competition at the Royal Wellington Golf Club. And a burglar, you'll never hear one Rotarian call another Rotarian a burglar, particularly at the Frank Jones tournament, I'm sure. A burglar is someone who will play substantially below their handicap on a relatively regular basis, coinciding that regularity with tournaments. So now we'll think about the Rotary 4-way test as I wrap this up, in case anyone's wondering that I'm rabbiting on for too long. This is the 18th hole at Royal Wellington. Now picture that you're playing a really hard-out game against a despised opponent. This is typical golf. Doesn't matter if you're playing for $1 or $100,000. It's always hard out. The 18th at Royal Wellington's a pretty straightforward par 5, except for the green. The green is a maze of undulations and is pretty quick. You've laid up your 3rd shot in front of the green. You've pitched on and you're 8 metres short of the pin. Still a pretty tricky putt, even to get down in 2. You're feeling pretty confident though. Your opponent has shanked his 3rd into the trees 60 metres short of the green. These ones over here. Alright? He's got 5 minutes to find his ball. You go over there, you help him. After 3 minutes, you're 100% confident he will not find this ball. You return to the green and start lining your putt up. Then you hear a cry, "Found it!" A whack, and ball comes sailing out of the trees and pulls up 2 inches short of the cup. What do? Do you continue lining up your putt in the vain hope you may sink it and force a play off? Or do you pull the cheating swine's ball from your pocket and confront him with it?